A new study out of Economic Policy Institute shows that Medicare for All would increase wages and create jobs. Now, this is a headline that a lot more people need to see. I just shot a segment on healthcare talking about the freedom that it gives people when it comes to single-payer healthcare. As a Canadian, I understand this. Everybody being on a single-payer system, we all pay into the same system, means complete freedom of choice when it comes to doctor. I could change jobs, go back to school, be unemployed, start a business, and still have the same doctor because it's a single-payer system. It's a government-run system. No out-of-pocket expenses. I never think about healthcare until I need it. And now, on top of all of that, not only is it a better healthcare system, but it also will increase wages and create jobs. So let me show you this here from Newsweek. As I said, Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All policy would likely increase wages and create jobs, new economic analysis shows. Let me go down and read a bit of this here. Josh Bivens, EPI's director who conducted the study, wrote in the report that Medicare for All, quote, would be unambiguously positive for the labor market in the U.S., leading to a boost in wages and salaries, as well as an increase in job quality, while producing a net increase in jobs. Although the analysis notes that policymakers should not, quote, ignore the distress caused by job transitions due to such a healthcare reform, Bivens wrote that job losses during a transitional period would be relatively small. Quote, despite the fact that Medicare for All could deliver these large benefits to efficient labor market functioning, the policy often comes under fire from critics making highly exaggerated claims about the potential job loss that could occur under such a reform, Bivens noted. The grain of truth in some of the claims is that, like any productivity improvement, the adoption of a reform like Medicare for All would require the redeployment of workers from one sector, the health insurance and medical billing complex, to other sectors, mostly the delivery of healthcare, he wrote. But there is little in the Medicare for All induced redeployment of workers that would greatly stress the American labor market over and above the uncertainty that and churn that characterizes this labor market every year. So I'll just read a little bit more here. Wendell Potter, a former health insurance vice president who left the industry and now advocates for healthcare reform, told Newsweek that the analysis undermines a key argument that private insurance industry uses to push back against Medicare for All. Quote, it's a dark day for my old pals in the insurance industry because one of their few arguments for keeping the current system placing profits over care is gone, Potter said. On top of the obvious medical benefits, America's jobs outlook will improve under Medicare for All. The data proves it. So not only is Medicare for All beneficial in terms of the way that healthcare would now be administered under a single payer system, but also people would make more money and it would create more jobs. Now, there is that little worry, as mentioned in there as well, about people losing jobs in the transition to a Medicare for All system. But even Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan, just like all of his plans, puts labor first. So there actually is space in his Medicare for All bill to take care of those workers that will lose their job in a transition away from a private system into a single-payer system. So much like his Green New Deal takes care of blue-collar workers who currently work in the fossil fuel industry and will lose their job in the transition to renewable energies, his Medicare for All bill leaves space for that as well. And when you think about unions and the negotiating process when it comes to healthcare, right now unions have to take a pay cut. Their workers have to take a pay cut when it comes to negotiating healthcare. So they get healthcare they get healthcare guaranteed to them, but because of that, they lose out when it comes to potential increases in their wages. But now, under a Medicare for All system, since healthcare is off the table, already guaranteed to them at the federal level, they now have the space, the opportunity to then focus on other areas like wages. So there are just endless benefits to a Medicare for All system. And as I say, anytime I cover Medicare for All or healthcare, I always forget something. I always forget to mention some kind of benefit because there are so many benefits and I take it all for granted because I've always lived in this system. I don't know anything else. I often forget all the benefits that a Medicare for All or a single payer system has. So this is definitely one of them. I mean, I hadn't even considered the potential of wage increases or more jobs. But that's now another piece of why Medicare for All is what you need to move to.